Kristen, thank you for being here with me today, my beautiful soul friend.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and especially taking your time out this beautiful summer day that Lionsgate portal as we're shifting into that totally new Earth world. Matthias DiStefano did his Mayan calendar, the days outside of time, and I very much was an Atlantean calendar was very much feeling that, we are stepping into days outside of time and totally all shifting not only what our calling is, but elevating that calling since arriving home from Egypt 3 months
Mm.
ago. So I would love to hear what's been transpiring in your life as we've been shifting and growing and changing.
Honestly, I do love Matthias. He's so cute. Just, I love his way of presenting information. And he's
Um,
spot on. But more
Wisdom.
than anything, I think since I've been back, I've been making space for myself.
Beautiful.
And um, I had done it before when I transitioned from my 9 to 5 job into doing choosing me in 2022, like full time, no apologies, no nothing. But boy, it takes some time to acclimate to that. And it takes time to rewrite the programs that made us think that we had to earn our space.
Yep.
That is truly not the case. But deprogramming
The hustle.
that part, yeah, it's real.
Yep.
Feeling like you almost like you have to earn your keep
Yep.
to be in your own space.
Yep.
That is not the case.
Yep.
So I've really been anchoring into my own space more authentically and unapologetically since I came back from Egypt. I'm sure you can identify with that,
Yep.
but it's been a beautiful transition. I am so much more aware of the things around me. Like nature is naturing so beautifully right now. And I'm so thrilled to be a part of it. Like everything is ceremony, everything. Noticing, the way plants are. I had a, I rescued some tomato plants from a girlfriend because her camper is in the shade. So I brought them my way and a significant branch broke off of one of the tomato plants and it had baby tomatoes all over it. And I was like, I can't let you die. I can't. So I took it and I stuck it in one of my hostas and I asked the hosta to watch over it and allow it to grow because hostas are so remarkable in the way that they can thrive and come back regardless of what happens to them. They're so resilient. So
Teach the
I stuck the tomato, yeah, I stuck the tomato branch in there, and lo and behold, all the little tomatoes that are on it are ripening with new fruit coming. And I was so blown away by that. I said, nature is the epitome of an example for us. Like,
is resilient.
support the community, the nurturing. Doesn't matter that it's not the same plant. It is nurturing that other piece of broken plant. How remarkable is that?
I love that.
I'm just blown away.
I love No, that's such a beautiful analogy for not only what we need to be doing in our lives, but also what we've been feeling in our lives since coming home is
Mm.
finding those that we can stand next to and grow in their sunshine, but not feel like we're dimmed in that light, but also,
Mm.
not feel the betterness, feel the ego of needing to shine brighter than somebody standing next to them.
Oof.
What a beautiful,
Amen, sister. Amen.
how special.
This has been an incredible summer. Probably, I would have to say, my most transformative.
And what would you credit to that transition within? I know for a lot of us coming out and finally letting our freak flag fly, letting people really into our hearts like we did in Egypt. We really were able to say our truth without shying away from it and feeling like others wouldn't understand it. So what has really been a catalyst for you in allowing others to truly see and feel the changes within you rather than hide away and shy away from them?
Hey there, spiritual storytellers. You hear me say that your voice is your power. And as a professional singer and performer, it truly is, which is why I use my Dr. Vokes. When I'm doing my vocal warm ups and doing any type of performance, I make sure to use my Dr. Vokes, which uses water pressure in order to add back pressure to your vocal cords, making them stronger and more resonant. I also love how the bottle contains water to act as your own personal humidifier, which is absolutely genius. Now, if you want to give your voice more power and you want to try your own Dr. Vokes, I highly suggest going to drvokes.shop and use the discount code Tracy10, that's TRACY10, so that you can get 10% off any of the Dr. Vokes products. The link is in the show notes. And I truly want you to experience the power of your voice, not only with the Dr. Vokes, but through sharing your story with the Spiritual Storyteller podcast. Now, let's get back to the show.
Well, I definitely have to credit Egypt with a lot of that. I mean, psychic surgeries at the breakfast table and birthing grief babies on the bus, like that was real for me. Those are things that I would normally take into my office space and do, where it didn't matter who was around. I knew that somewhere within them, anybody that noticed was holding space. They were a living, breathing container for what was taking place. And whether they were aware of the space that they were holding, they were. And it was so easy and so beautiful. You know, it just laying on the ground at the temples, standing in the sun and just honoring all that is and just downloading everything and knowing that we were part of something so much bigger than we were. Just that knowing and not being afraid to show up as my authentic self because I could see how everybody else was doing it. And it came so easily in that sacred vessel that we were in. I attribute it, like, the way I saw it was the Nile River was the birth canal, the water, the sacred waters around us. And we were in the womb of the ship,
Yep.
you know, and feeding each other and nurturing each other in every single way. When you look around, the conversations that were being had and the love that was being shared and the light that was just pouring from everyone was so significant and so beautiful that it still blows me away. The container that we created,
And the magic
we
that
are
was
the
undeniable.
container.
Yep.
Yeah. It was so wholesome and so natural. And now I'm able to bring that everywhere. I don't even have to be in somebody's presence to be able to be that container. I had a phone call last week and multiple where just talking to somebody on the phone, I'm a container and a safe place for them to anchor into and really bring up all the things. We're talking past lives and relationships and this life and ancestral wounding and all the things that come into the surface when you get on the phone with me sometimes, that we can pull them into our consciousness and heal them, and that consciousness is all around us at all times, just waiting to be tapped in, just waiting to say, yes, please. Yes, please. I give you my full permission to step in. That wisdom that just rolls right through us and can help us, you know, feel safe when people talk to me. I can witness the purging that is happening, whether it's tears or burping or sneezing or hiccups. Like, it's all valid. And by the time we wrap up a phone call, I'm like, do you realize that you have four different types of purges while you've been on the phone with me? Like, you are discarding the old programming, you are discarding that old story. You're growing beyond it. Can you see that? And people are like, yeah, yeah, I feel that. I feel lighter. And I'm like, that turd is only yours if you choose to pick it back up. That story only exists if you believe it and you stand behind it and you pull it back in. That is not your story.
So powerful.
Mm, so delicious.
Well, and that was one of the most beautiful things that I think I witnessed with you specifically in Egypt was your ability to do those psychic surgeries and to clear those energy fields of people. And it was something that for me made me really realize and know that not only is this normal, others are doing it, and it's
Mm,
just something that we don't talk about, but how so many others that you would have thought may be skeptical of it, once you started to share and I started to share and be like, well, if your back's hurting, go see Kristen. Even some of the men on the trip that you expected to maybe be resistant of it, just in general, it was really beautiful and powerful for me to see that, like, not only did we all feel it and believe it and know that it was possible and to be true, but we were open to receive it, which I think is a blocker for so many people, just to even be open to receive something that is out of the norm of what they believe, not only in medical science but just in energy work. Like you said, the plants, you're hearing the tomato plant say, don't let me die, and you're saying, don't worry about it, I got you. It's I think we're all doing that with ourselves every day, but we don't realize that there's so much more navigating us in this life than the logical
mm.
mind allows us to believe.
Absolutely. I absolutely. And the thing is, that hosta plant, it has taken a little bit away from it, but on the other end, I'm caring for that as well. It just, everything has its place. Everything is so beautifully significant. And I am so proud of those men for allowing their feminine side to come into balance with their masculine. I'm so proud of them. I just, mm, every day I run across the most remarkable people and they don't even know it. They don't even know it.
Yeah.
Not yet.
That's, I think, what the importance as well is highlighting the story of a spiritual storyteller is, because I think a lot of us just believe that, we are working this 9 to 5 to survive. We are just, Becky Bank teller. I think we've forgotten so much that we are so much more. And even 200 years ago, we wouldn't have been women that were going to work for a paycheck. We would have been learning another language, a foreign language. We would have been practicing our flute or our piano lessons. We would have been working hours on our reading and our penmanship. And it's just this awareness that this awakening that's happening within us is not something that is this fruity delight that we're taking in. No, it's truly, there's something within ourselves that's yearning to come back into balance at this time, and realize that not only as divine masculine and feminine, we have so much more to offer, than just putting into a retirement account. We have so much more to offer than just singing a song because it's enjoyable. It's truly, we're doing it for our ancestors, and we're doing it for those that are before us, and come after us, that need to know that this is truly a mission that we were given. This is something that we're remembering
Oh,
how important it is to get back to the root of who we are, and not just to do something because it pays the bills.
agreed. Oh, that is, that's it in a nutshell, really. It just, the thing is, we became this way over time, but it was only to keep us small and from recognizing how powerful we are, especially when we come together. We are unstoppable, and we are here for this. This is our time to shine. Mm.
Nope, so powerful. Now, and I want to talk to you as well, because something that you've spoken of as well as in ceremony, and truly what you do as your psychic healings and things like that, is something that opened my eyes on the trip, is how possible it is to truly lead ceremony, and how you share your gifts in that sacred container. So if you feel comfortable, I would love to know more about your journey in offering ceremonies, and how that's changed in you in the last few months.
Mm. There was a gentleman that approached me before Egypt, and he had gotten my name from his nurse practitioner to do a ceremony with 5-MeO. And I was resistant because he was former law enforcement. And I was scared. I said, what if this is a setup? Like, and old programming taught us to fear the law, right? Instead of looking at them as just another human being in need of some sort of healing or some sort of remembrance, really. Uh, And when I told him, I said, listen, I'm afraid of you. I said, you need to give me time to acclimate to this. This is my own programming that I need to work through. I hope you understand and that you can offer me the patience to maneuver through it and discard what no longer serves. That's not my purpose, is to be afraid and stay in my bubble. And he did. He gave me the space. And when I returned from Egypt, I was able to serve him with an open heart. And, when we talked about it, his feelings were hurt that I would feel that way toward him. And I said, you have to understand that that's programming both on your part and mine. Like, you were trained to scare me. You were trained to intimidate me into cooperating with you. Like, that was your career. And, so we were actually able to open a dialogue about that. And so the ceremonies that I've been able to host for him since then have been a lot about releasing his old programming as well, not just mine, but I had to experience it first. And so, and that is in the work that we do with the shadow. You know, um, I hope I'm not like off topic. Am I still
No, this is
am
that
I still following the line of questioning?
No, that is beautiful, because it's something that I hadn't even considered, was the ceremony is not just for the recipient, it's also for the performer of the ceremony, to really know that they're in resonance with not only that individual, but what that individual may experience. That's something I never really considered.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, we pulled out his old programming that was in the form of colon cancer.
Wow.
We just did that. last week.
Wow.
And in the center of that that bundle of cancerous cells was a nucleus of light that was just waiting to be tapped. And in ceremony, I can see it in my mind's eye. And it doesn't even, I call everything ceremony, you know. So even when you're up on my table, I can feel where your energetic imbalances are, you know. Um, Even just sitting and talking to people, I can feel where their energetic imbalances are, where they're holding on to an old story. And I can ask if you're ready to let that go. Are you ready? And without your permission, it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. You have to want to release it. That's your attachment to the story. And we all have them. It's just a matter of finding them. Let me just.
It's a beautiful reminder of our sovereignty too. Like you said, you have the ultimate choice whether or not it gets released.
Mhm. Sorry about the racket. My neighbor pulled up in a rat rod that he made himself. It's pretty cool.
No, it
It
reminds me of
his
home at summer camp.
creativity.
Yep, it reminds me of home at summer
Yeah,
camp, which again is that youthful nostalgia of just reminding us that, we haven't always been this way, so uptight and so serious and rigid. It's
yeah,
time to release some of that held BS that gives us colon cancer, that gives us all this disease because we're truly holding on what is no longer meant to be stored within us.
right. That whole, you know, closing everything in and tightening down. Like somebody who is not naturally buttoned down and tight like that, that's a lot of times where they store it, you know, especially law enforcement. You're talking colon cancers, prostate cancers, intestinal issues, you know, low back pain. I can often see that nerve bundle at the base of the spine, and that's responsibility, and that's like stored programming that just needs to be released. You know, so I look at that nerve bundle, and in the center of that is another core of white light, just waiting to be pulled through the nerve bundle, piece by piece, lovingly. And I don't do it for them. I create the imagery for them to see it and help pull that light that exists within them into that space. The light is coming from your heart, and we're loving all the places, we're loving the shadows. And in that, we're pulling up that old programming, which is shadow, and bringing it into the light or illuminating the shadow and finding love for it so that it can become one with us. And that is the melding of the two, right? That's what brings us into wholeness and harmony within our body. You know, I just went to a sound bath probably 3 weeks ago, and I've been meaning to make a video about this because it was here's me laying on my mat and the sound bath starts, and I'm thinking, here I go, I'm floating up into the cosmos. And I heard, hey, it's me. I'm right here. And I'm like, oh, I guess we're not going cosmic this time. And I come back and I'm like, hi, who are you? And she said, I'm 13-year-old you. And I said, ooh, what do you need? So here's me doing my own work, thinking, I'm just going to float away. Oh no, girl, get your ass back down here. You
That
ain't done with me yet. So I tap into that 13-year-old girl and I said, what do you need? What, tell me what you need. And she said, I'm angry. And I said, ooh, we visited a lot of different places from that girl, but never the anger. That was the last thing that was addressed because we're so afraid to show anger. Like you have to live in the light and love and light and bring peace, bring peace. That girl wanted to smash some shit. So I let her. I said, what do you want to do? This is your show. I'm just holding space for you. I'm the grown up version that won't let anything happen to you. What do you need? And she said, I want to smash all the dishes in that house where we grew up with all that trauma and all those wounds and all those times I felt misunderstood, unheard, never got to use my voice. And I said, all right, honey, let's do it. We started with the Corral unbreakable dishes. Turns out they are breakable. So we smashed every dish in the cupboard. And, as a child, my dad drank the glass Pepsi bottles, like the 16-ounce glass pop bottles that are real thick and sturdy. And I felt largely unheard by him because he was protecting the alcoholic stepmother who was, you know, she was wounded in her own ways, very much so, even more so than I could see for my own, hers went just as deep and a lot more traumatic than mine. But we took his 16-ounce pop bottles and smashed all her beer Pilsner glasses. And it was like so symbolic to use his bottle to smash her beer glass or beer glasses. There were multiple. But, we smashed all that stuff. And I was like, this is fun. What else do you want to do? And she's like, let's burn the place to the ground. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. So we lit the kitchen on fire and we lit the living room on fire and we sat in the grass and we just watched it burn. And I said, how do you feel? And she's like, I feel good.
I was gonna say, I
I
feel like
feel
hearing that.
right. Oh, she had a full on rage and it was beautiful. I got to witness it and even participate just a little bit. I let her do all the dirty work, I let her have that rip roaring rage. And it was so satiating, so satiating to bring that anger to a place of being felt and heard and, you know, allowing that anger to come through in here, you know, dissipating that full on rage and allowing it to have a space of its own in sacred ceremony,
Totally.
a container that was created by other people that were in ceremony. It was not loud. There was nothing. It was all here. And at the end, when we were burning it, that house, and I said, how do you feel? She said, I feel so good. And I said, all right. I said, what do you need now? And she said, I just need a hug. So I held her to my chest and my heart to heart. And she just melded into me and we became one. So shadow work can be that simple and that eloquent and that satiating. It was beautiful. And I got to witness every bit of it. No longer unseen, no longer unheard. She's me and I'm her.
And now you honor that inner child differently because like you said, you actually got the chance to re-experience them and re-experience them in the present versus think back to all these years ago. No, she's still active within me and she's still right there
Mm,
and I'm still remembering her exactly as she was,
yeah.
as she
And
is.
I didn't dishonor her in any way. I gave her everything she wanted.
Yep.
She needed a place to be heard and seen and felt. And I felt her, all of her. And it was magnificent. That rage and that anger was beautiful to witness. It was so potent and powerful.
I think especially now that it's the eve of the full moon and the A8 portal, it's something that maybe a ritual I'll do tonight is truly seeing and hearing what teenage
Mhm.
Tracy has to say.
I'm sure she has a beautiful, mm, she's got something so beautiful to share with you. I know it. I just know it. And you being you will truly honor her voice like you honor your own. It's so sacred.
Yeah. That's
They
and
don't call it holy rage for nothing.
that's something that coming home from Egypt, it really made me realize was that, you know, for me it opened the throat chakra and it really made me feel like we have a message to not only share,
Mm,
but yes, others can share it differently, but there's a reason why we're called to share it. And that's something that's been really, really poignant in me for the last few months is that, you know, there's a reason why we feel we want to be heard. And no matter where it goes, no matter how far it goes, where it will take us, it truly is just honoring the fact that something within us is being called to be heard right now at this time.
so much, so much. I love that you're doing this, giving people a container and giving people permission to see and hear that they are not alone. This is a path taken by many, even the workers, even the grid holders and the light bringers and the way showers and the singers and the everybody has something to offer and nobody is doing this alone. Not one single person. And if people tell you that they don't have any shadows or that they're already enlightened, it's not true. Yes, we do hold some enlightenment. Yes, we do hold a consciousness, but we're not all there.
And it's
We're
a
not all
constant
there. There's so
evolution.
many factors.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm realizing too. It's constant evolution. We're never going to be there. We're constantly going to be growing and reshaping based on the level that we get to with whatever adventures and awarenesses we choose to take in from that time.
Mm,
Yep.
yeah. Do you have a filter on in any way? Because I
No,
can actually see your aura, and I have never ever been able to see auras. You've got white, and there's some yellow, and there's some purple in there. It's I've never been able to see auras before, but I can see auras,
I was gonna say
and
I do
it's
have a light on in the
beautiful.
background, but I'll share my aura photo. I did an
No,
aura photo in Sedona last year and it was lots of yellows and like pinky purples. And it was talking about the third eye being
yeah, there's
open.
some blue.
Yep. My heart is
Mm,
open.
it's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I
Well,
love it.
that's why I'm honored as well just to share your gifts with the world because like I said, you were one of the few that made me feel like it was finally safe to come out, safe to share, let our freak flags fly. And that it's
Hmm.
okay, it's safe to be seen and heard. It's safe to allow others
Yeah,
to experience us. Even though we've been told that we're a lot, we can be too much, like to let people truly experience us in our true form,
yeah,
which is also a
yeah,
blessing because, you know, people that let you see behind the mask are very special people that not
mm,
everybody does. So I really
yeah,
enjoy sharing back the gifts that you have to offer for folks as well because it really was a life-changing experience just being on the Nile with you. So and
yeah.
sharing more of your gifts with the world.
Mm. It's my pleasure. The thing is, I am deeply honored by the people who allow me into their space. Like, it's an honor to be able to touch somebody's heart with your hand, with your own heart, with your words. Like, we have such trouble. We fall under these labels of being bipolar or like anything.
Yep,
Bipolar to me is just a high capacity for the love of life
yep,
and just to experience it in such an open and exciting way like that. overly excited, like
Yep.
that
Nope.
hyper
Yep.
that runs through you and you just want to do it all. And you do as much as you can in that space. And then you have to bring it in and rest. And it's such a deep rest that you're needing. But if you don't give yourself that rest and you don't give yourself permission to do it, it comes out in a way that is less easily contained than if you would have just listened to what your body was asking for.
Yep.
There's no medication. No medication can touch that
Yep.
that spark.
Yep.
It's incredible. And by the way, your throat is blue and there's a butterfly over it. I don't know if you can see that or not on your side, but there's a butterfly outlined
Yep.
in blue all through your throat. So your throat is wide open. The world is
He's been doing the
waiting
work.
for
He's been
you.
doing the work. But yeah, no,
Oh,
like you said, it's not easy, but it's so worth it once you realize that every day more signs, more synchronicities that you're answering that sacred calling. So from your mouth to God's ears.
right? And hopefully, anybody that needs to hear the message that they are more than they ever imagined they would be, more than they've ever been told that they were. We're not we're not here to be controlled.
It's time
Mm,
to ask that 13-year-old self what they want, what needs to be heard for sure. Yep.
yeah. I actually last week I was doing a meditation and I was meditating with Yeshua. And I said, what is it that I need to know? What is it that I could benefit from most at this time? And he said, a ceremony of, it's a foot bathing ceremony. And I said, using what? And it was the 3C. It was corn silk, red clover, and cattails. So I put it through the architect, of course, to find out what the healing properties of those were. And it was an anti inflammatory, and it was bringing in the feminine masculine balance.
Yep.
And, I had added in because I grow my own herbs. I have lavender and lemon balm and rosemary and things that I wanted to bring into that. And a friend gave me an oil from Jerusalem, imported. It's avocado. No, it is, oh, artichoke. Hard on the outside, soft on the inside. Imported from
Art.
Jerusalem as an anointing oil, and along with the rose oil that I have. So it was a matter of bringing Yeshua and Mary into
Yep.
ceremony with me to do foot washing, foot bathing in ceremony. And I thought, wow, how beautiful, how blessed am I that I get to do something like that. So I'm gonna hopefully do my first one on myself, but then I'm gonna do it with other people probably this weekend. So I get to bathe
Perfect time.
somebody's feet. Yeah. Mm. Bring them into harmony and balance with the master and the feminine. And I've worked with Yeshua and Mary many times before, but this will be the first sacred foot bath and sacred anointing ceremony